It is 11:26 p.m. on Thursday night, and it sort of feels like that moment on Titanic of, we waited too long. We waited too long. It's fine. Hello, my kindred, my curios, my gallant adventurers on this crazy rock we call Earth. Welcome back to my channel. Before I start with announcements, I would normally be showing you the glorious results of that painted shelf, but I had a snag because I started to paint it and then I realized the paint I had was too dark. Oops. Snow, as you probably know, is a very bright white, like shockingly bright, and it looks dirty now, so I actually need to get different paint. So I think what I'm going to do is hop over to Culture Hustle. If you've not familiarized yourself with them, they do the blackest black. They also do the whitest white. Thank you, Stuart Semple. I will be procuring some of that for myself. And then hopefully I'll have proper snow on the shelf and I'll add some glitter to it. Not sure why I got stuck in an accent all of a sudden, but there you go. I do have an announcement, but I don't have any hard dates for you yet, but I have secured an audio engineer for the Alys audiobook. Huzzah! Part of that process will be him comparing it with the actual PDF file and being like, Carrie, you said this a little weird. You may need to re-record this. If that's the case, he actually feels really confident with my setup that I can just re-record a few lines and sentences and then he can mix it so that it should be able to match the room tone that was in the studio. So I'm feeling really good about it. I'll keep you guys updated as it goes. We're getting really close. And now that I've figured this out, I feel better about moving forward with Changeling once this gets all settled. So excited. Highlights for this week. You might remember that a while back we mentioned saving up for Angelique to take some bartending classes that she was really, really interested in. Well, we have it. And we're enrolling her probably next week. She's really excited. But yeah, I'm happy to get that going. And speaking of highlights, even though I didn't get them in my hair, it is a hair thing. This is a weird segue that my brain was like, haha, this is a thing. It's not really a thing now that I'm saying it out loud. But anyway, I went to get my hair trimmed last week. And something I learned, because my hair has been feeling a little, you can't tell because right now it's so silky because I've been working on it for a whole week. But I had noticed some odd breakage, even though I hadn't changed anything in my hair routine, and I use a very light lightener. It had never really caused this problem before. I was really confused as what was going on. And when I sat down, she's like, yeah, your texture does not feel like normally how it does. And she asked, have you gone to the gym more lately? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, like I'm getting back into working out more. And she's like, do you sweat a lot? Yes, I guess, probably. Yeah, I do. I don't, this glisten stuff, no, I full on sweat. And it's great for when I'm working out because it means I don't overheat, but goodness, the moment I stop working out, I'm freezing because the moment my temperature drops back down, I'm just like, it's a lot. It's bleh. And what she then proceeded to explain to me seemed really obvious after she explained it, but had never occurred to me. We are just going to ignore that I am straight up reading off my laptop for my notes, because again, it is almost midnight on Thursday. In my defense, and I apologize, this is a little bit of a tangent, but this is me. One of the things I was fighting with this week was my desktop blue screening. I think it's fine now, at least enough to limp along for probably another month or so, but it's been a thing. Depending on a variety of factors, which can range from genetics, physical activity, diet, your sweat can range from 0.07 to 0.7 salinity. Now that might not sound like a lot, but the thing to keep in mind is that the average body of seawater is like 3.5% salinity. And the Dead Sea is like 34%. Essentially, if you're sweating a lot regularly, it's kind of like, I don't know, taking a dip in some brackish water. It starts drying your hair out the moment you start sweating. And the drier your hair gets, the more prone it is to damage and breakage. So if you, like many, decided at the new year you were going to get back into your workout routine, this might be something you want to consider, especially if you don't change anything about your hair routine and you notice it's getting drier and it's breaking and seeming to be getting extremely damaged. Because shampooing after a workout might not be enough. You may need to incorporate a weekly hair mask routine or a leave-in conditioner or anything that's going to really replace that moisture. And if you are like me and you have very fine hair that is very prone to dryness, you may need to coat your hair in something like argan or coconut oil before going to the gym. I'm not a fan of the process. I hate how it feels, but I cannot deny the results. My hair feels so much different today than it did a week ago. And I hope you will excuse that I've got a definite stain from my hair dye on my scalp right now because I literally just did it last night. But all this hair talk is a great jumping off point to get into this week's topic. It's not really a secret that when you're overwhelmed or depressed, your cleanliness, both around the house and personal grooming and hygiene, can take a bit of a toll. Which then starts the lovely vicious cycle of, because you feel bad about the state of your home or your current state of being, you really don't want to take a shower, do your laundry, do your dishes. It just becomes over and over and it's just... But what you might not know is that engaging in personal grooming can help your mental health. And I don't just mean the sort of treat yourself vibes, but the physiological to psychological connections of grounding sensory exercises. One of the reasons I keep up with my hair, other than loving the color, is that I have found it forces me to take time on it. Because keeping this color is a lot of work. But that means I have to take time every 3 weeks or so to work through the parting, the brushing, the combing, carefully painting through. And this simple, seemingly innocuous act becomes not only a form of self-expression, but also with its grounding effects of keeping me in my own body. It gives me a sense of control, especially on those days where I really don't feel like I have it. Through that control, dyeing my hair becomes a distraction from my anxiety and a celebration of who I am. The process requires an attention to detail, so I don't have time for self-loathing. I don't have room to worry. I'm painting. I am hyper-focused on distributing beautiful, rich color that makes me smile. It also means because I've got a bunch of dye on my head for the next few hours, I am limited in what I am able to do. This forces me to slow down, which can be a task for ADHD some days. Usually during this time, I take advantage of being in the bathroom. What else may need maintenance, perhaps? I'll tweeze my eyebrows, give my skin a good exfoliation, organize my skincare, or snag one of those sheet facials and watch a movie. A lot of these products inevitably are also infused with certain scents that trigger relaxation in the body. I know it's not for everyone, but for me, it's lavender. Historically, lavender oil has been used for alleviating pain, and its anti-inflammatory properties have been utilized to help with migraines, helping with bruises, eczema, dandruff, and even helping reduce scarring with cuts, though obviously don't rub it into an open wound. Not to mention that in magic, lavender is known to aid in sleep, peace, happiness, and protection. So as part of my own meditative process in personal grooming with lavender products, I try to focus on these aspects as I apply them. I like to do my own little LARP in these moments. Each product is a potion. Oddly, this does help, as does being in the moment when I feel the exfoliant against my skin or I smooth on the serum afterwards. Texture, scent, temperature, I try to be aware of all of them because it grounds me in the now. An important tool for all this, and I know we've talked about it before, is creating a routine. I love a routine, even though it is hard for me to stick to one, because inevitably, when I fall off it or out of that habit, I'll have a place to start back. It won't seem like this big, overwhelming task every time because I know what step one is. I have a 10-step skin routine. Do I always do it? No. But when I remember to, I feel great. And when I fall off or forget to do it, I know when I pick it back up exactly where to start and how to go through the paces. Very similarly, I have a multi-step hair routine, and I've just now, because of learning about what sweat does to hair, added a few steps to it every time I go to the gym because I want to take care of it. I will try my best to stick to this, but I also know there will be days where I'm just too tired to do it. And that's okay. Something I've learned that I really struggle with is that ADHD can make forming habits really hard. And accepting that that's just my norm has also been really hard. Because with habit forming, they always tell you you're going to do it every single day, and eventually it will become like breathing. And that has never been the case for me. Well, okay. I guess that is kind of true, because my version of breathing is I will just occasionally forget to breathe several times during the day, oddly enough. I'll just realize I've been holding my breath for the past 30 seconds for no reason, or I'll just stop breathing while I'm running. And I have to remind myself, hey, you should start doing that again. And I literally have to think, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And it's almost like I have fallen out of the routine of breathing and have had to remind myself, okay, you know how this starts, breathe in. These routines are meant to act as a blueprint of what to do next, so that we don't feel overwhelmed when we need to jump back into it after we haven't done it for a while. And that's another odd reason I really love dyeing my hair, because it reminds me every time I look in the mirror, hey, you're probably due to go through this process again. And that's another odd reason why I love dyeing my hair and how it helps my mental health as well as my grooming routine. It fades. I'm not a really big fan of the faded color. This color in particular actually fades quite beautifully. But when it starts to get muted, I don't like muted color. I like rich, vibrant. So when it starts to look pale or faded and unintentional, it drives me nuts. And I have a constant reminder anytime I pass a mirror. And that reminder says, hey, it's time to do this again. Which also means during that time, if I've also fallen out of step with my skin routine, I'll pick it back up then too. Which means about every 3 weeks, even if I've fallen off the wagon, which isn't the right term, but you know what I mean, I know how to get back on. Easy as pie. Now to wrap up today, let's check in with our goals. First, you might have noticed that last week I didn't mention anything about the potentially triggering things. And that's because it doesn't make sense for me to track those numbers more than once a month. Expecting change from week to week can be impractical and even harmful. Second, this week kicked my butt. As you know, I was dealing with the stress of a blue screen of death for most of the weekend. And looking at new computer parts sort of bums me out because one, there's some things that I have known to be true for so long that just aren't anymore. And also some of those prices are crazy pants. Like it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna have a great machine, but my goodness, what are some of those companies doing out there? But I did finish my walk through Moria, and I have already started on my next marathon through Lord of the Rings, called The Eye of Sauron. It's very exciting. Haha! There's a lot on this list I didn't get to because I was dealing with computer stress, especially the trailer that I really wanted to do, but that's okay. That's fine. We accomplished other things this week. These goals are not about perfectionism. Yes, it's about trying to set and meet a goal, but ultimately, what I want to do with this is just try to be a little better today than I was yesterday. And part of that includes trying to be a little happier and trying to be a little kinder on myself and really take care of this when it needs it. My brain, not just my hair. Keep on the windy side of care, Kindred. And until next time, stay curious.